Well, so some of these videos that I make have also been a bit like a journal, kind of updating people on where I am, what's happening in my world, um, and how things are progressing. Okay. So I would be putting it on a raw here background because this is not just movementless yoga. Yeah. So it looks pretty interesting. Yeah. Through all kinds of things. But sometimes reducing the noise also has its value. But sometimes having the traffic sounds be heard has its own benefit. Yeah. So sometimes being in the traffic with all its different sounds, no particular cadence in its own beat, um, has you see life from a different perspective. You may say, oh, too much noise. You don't want to listen to that. But that's largely what's there. And music is when you turn on the music or when you play the music on an instrument, where you're drowning out the other sounds and listening only to certain sounds. Yeah. So here is reality a little bit that you then sometimes choose to be in a particular corner where there is not much noise, which means you're avoiding something, or rather preferring to have certain experience versus another, versus other, which may be in a little while in some way overwhelming. Movementless yoga has a relevance, and this is some of the benefit from movementless yoga, that you're aware of the many things that's there and are able to be appreciative. So to make it easier is where I've been putting on a background. There are different backgrounds here, so that you're listening only to certain things, what you can see me as a person, what I'm speaking, while there is not much noise in the background, lots of colors and many things. Um, but real life is like this. Otherwise, it's like going to the Himalayas to find peace. Yeah. You're having a certain context, a certain space, a certain time of the day when you can do yoga. At other time, you might be screaming at your, ooh, lots of noise in the hair, no kinds of things, and you're having to light a candle to have peace. And yeah. Why yoga? Is so that you can have normal, ordinary, harmonious living while there may be noises of many kinds. May not be necessarily pleasing to you, but this is life. Depending on the geography you're in, you could say, or developed country, yeah, developing country, but choosing something, ignoring something else, you miss out on the buffet that's life. And then you can choose on, oh, I like that color, or I like that, and don't like that. Some things, these are all choice, big things over many years, many times, by many people. Okay. And in this moment in time, in this geodesimal location where I'm speaking from, are people of many health conditions, different states of well-being, different age groups, different gender, yeah, different activities of daily living, how they earn their living, what they do in their own 24 hours. And their composition affects me. So while the background seems like this, there is so much more happening around me because there are so many people in my neighborhood. Some of the uh, walls are kind of this much distance. Yeah. Yet people are like, you call it as an aura. They're like dandelion heads. Yeah. The person may seem only this much, but their space may be like this much, yeah, maybe more. And also through the walls affects other people, yeah. And then how do you maintain your health, wealth, and wisdom? You could also say, oh, vampiring energy, but that's also from what people have and don't have. And different people are in different stages of having and not having, or would like to have different stages of becoming healthy, wealthy, wiser. That is not able to be seen in this video. Yeah. So you're listening to me from your geodecimal location. And maybe it becomes easier, maybe, to hone into why movementless yoga. Because yoga is also happening when you may be not striking a pose. You're sitting here eating something, maybe you're just writing something, or you're just sitting, doing particularly nothing. But you're affected, not just by people around you, by things around you, but also by the sun, the moon, different planets, and many kinds of things, including gadgets around you, which have their own electronic effect on you. Okay. And these days, at least I'm in Bengaluru, um, you want me to turn off the background so you can see less because it overwhelms you. I can do that because now this becomes movementless yoga. Yeah. I'm trying to bring a certain context when you kind of see this, what this is related to. But if that has you feel weller, finer with what you have in your life, it's a fine, nice, cozy. You don't want to see many things, or you would like your teachers to be inspiring and all picture perfect and fine. Yeah. Sometimes it's a billboard that's your teacher with a certain quote and maybe all dust and grime. But your idea of a teacher as a person may be all figured out and perfect. Yeah. Surprise. Yeah. A lot of taboos or preconceived notions are affecting what you learn and whom you learn from. Yeah. So breaking a few myths. Yeah. Maybe your next teacher is somebody who is a security guard. Yeah. Or somebody who's begging on the street. Just because you're not conditioned to listen to them, you're missing some very important gems. Okay. So I'm just preparing you for different people you have prejudices by, and consequently are not able to see them for what they are or who they are. Now, having said that, in Bengaluru, just like during the pandemic time, kind of, I cannot really associate with that, but there's a similarity in the sense that that was also a respiratory concern, COVID. Here there is another virus. I don't know about how much, but I got to know there was one person, one child who got infected, and today got to know 7 people infected with the virus. Nevertheless, WHO's global list of diseases have many infectious diseases. And we have the news of one virus, while there is bacteria and fungi and all kinds of concerns. Nevertheless, our body is affected by many kinds of concerns. With the background of, you could see things and gadgets and people and all kinds of influences on our well-being, on our space. In our space, we have so many things. In our bodily experience, we have so many things to pay attention to, if we pay attention to them. Otherwise, we're just at the affect of things. And you have the life you have. If you want to have a better life, you can keep fighting and then not want to be here because it's also overwhelming and many kinds of things. But if you want to run, you can keep running. Or You can stay where you are and make things better, such that people who are around you are thinking better, feeling better, doing better, knowing better, such that your life is also better, their life is also better, future generations are also better. That you can do. That's what I call as turning the river around, kind of. Yeah. Instead of working on building bridges, you turn the river, yeah, the tide, such that they're also healthy, wealthy, wise. You're also healthy, wealthy, wise. Future generations are also healthy, wealthy, wise. It's just that how you make your, health, wealth, and wisdom is different from how we have generally been doing. Yeah, small little changes, but it turns around the direction of life for many people. It just makes everybody healthy, wealthy, wise. That is possible too. In the dark, when you turn on a candlelight, the space of the room is different from all dark and dank. One light changes the space of the room. Yeah. And then what is possible in the room changes because you can see better, you can see differently. How to do that is what movementless yoga makes available. Healthy natural breathing. Because when say the fan or the AC or the windows are open, the livability in a room is different. Like when it was all stuffy, you just don't know why you are uncomfortable until the air and light is different. Okay. Now, having said that, bring your attention to your arms, upper arms, left and right sides. Now, why am I saying this? Paying attention to wellness, awareness of your wellness is also how you improve your state of well-being. If you don't know how you're doing at this moment, there is no need for you to work on improving how things are. You can just be, this is how life is. And you build your stories from how things are. And you're doing things or not doing things based on the experience at this moment. I, for example, when I'm sitting here, before I could think of coming online, making this video, I was experienced as though I've been put on kind of strings, like in locks. Yeah. And like there is no will to write. Yeah. There is no will to you can make a video. Yeah. But not to write and kind of make plans or do things for myself or to, work on improving my wealth and all of that. Yeah. It's when you're being aware that you know what is there, what is not there. What is there a permission for? What is there not a permission for? And we still have our activities of daily living, our own businesses to take care of. Without changing things, awareness makes you aware of what is there, what is not there. Meaning, what is missing is present by its absence or absent by its presence. When you're being mindful of what's there and what's not there, that would also give you signs, points of reference for health versus disease. Now, why the disease is there could be many reasons. It could also be that in the city you're in, there is this respiratory concern there. And so our breath, our ways of thinking is a little limited. Some things are possible, some things are not possible. Or it may not even be the virus. It could just be some people are a little sick with I can't say flu. Yeah. It's just that they've not had a bath in some time. And so their skin is all kind of like that. Yeah. Their state of well-being is, I don't want to do much. I just want to just curl up and sleep. Yeah. And their ways of being is kind of affecting you. You don't know where or how. Yeah. And without you being aware of it, you're just going to just don't feel like it without inquiring into why you're feeling like that. And you're just going to go with your everyday activities. It's also called functionalessa. Your functioning becomes a little less. That's one of the 6 signs of inflammation. Okay. Being aware, okay, I will list out the 6 signs. Dolor or pain, rubor or redness, calor or heat, tumor or swelling. Could also be fluid sense, a sense of bogging, waterlogging, uh, tumor, swelling, functionalessa. You're not as functional as you would like to be. And another is sonar. What kind of sounds do you hear? It could also be thoughts. What kind of thoughts do you have in your head? That would be different from one place versus another. And that could be many, many reasons like this. But it's a signs, it's one of the signs of inflammation. That's what I found. What kind of sounds are coming from your mouth? What are you speaking? What's the pitch of your tone? Is it sharp? That could also be because your throat is in some way inflamed, or your vocal cords, or the fire element. Earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space. 6 elements that our body as well as the environment around is made of. Microcosm and macrocosm is made up of. So it could be that the fire element is a little inflamed, is a little too sharp, yeah, due to whatsoever reason. Some people even chant mantras, yeah, and that's also a certain utterance from the fire element. And that could sometimes affect your ability to speak well enough. Like if you just notice my voice just went like that. The thing is, health and disease have different signs. And that doesn't mean, oh, total freedom is health. Yeah. So when you're aware of the signs and symptoms of which is health and which is unhealthy, then you can work with how things are to make life better for you, people around you, and future generations. You can be contributing to health, wealth, and wisdom of life in many spheres. Okay, that's one of the benefits of movementless yoga. Because yoga is about making things better, bringing things together and making things better, converting the bitter to better. Now, when you don't know about it, it could also be because, well, respiratory concerns, there could be long COVID effects since the 2 years of the pandemic, where your breathing patterns are not as sufficient as they need to be. There are also, it's been called as a Buteyko practice, but I don't know if this is related with that. It could also be some form of obsessive compulsive breathing patterns, where your breath is not as long and as natural as they need to be, as healthy as they need to be. And consequently, your thought lines are kind of limited to just this much. Some states of well-being is not present as well as they need to be because there are obsessive compulsive breathing patterns, breathwork patterns. Yeah. So the kind of, well, frequency, energy, vibration that you are may not be in their vocabulary of what is healthy, wealthy, wise. And consequently, you're experiencing, oh, just, not much enough space. Okay. So being aware of something is there and not there because of prejudices also. Yeah. Allows you to then work with how things are. Yeah. Humanity cross boundaries. We all have our own different coping mechanisms. And long COVID effect has its own effect on our physical, I call it PISIS, physical, intellectual, spatiotemporal, conscience, emotional, and social consciousness. On our PISIS, PISCS, yeah? Physical, intellectual, spatiotemporal, conscience, emotional, social consciousness, PISIS, on our PISIS. A body is at least the shape of a fish, yeah? This is in reference to sacred geometry, where 2 circles, mother and father, for example, their material coming together forms the body that's human. So that's like when 2 circles are coming together. At the point where the 2 circles come together, there's a kind of a fish-like, an eye-like shape. Yeah, that's called the vesica piscis. So I've made a meaning out of it. Yeah, and I call it as Pisces. And your Pisces, physical, intellectual, spatiotemporal, conscience, emotional, social consciousness, they get affected. And consequently, your state of well-being. Okay. So this is there for everybody. Yeah. And we have our coping mechanisms on how to have a Pisces well enough. Having said that, I can pause for now. Yeah. But if I can take you through a small exercise where you can be a little more aware of how you're doing right now, and so that you can make little adjustments in your state of well-being, such that you're doing better in such a way that others are not inconvenienced either, because they just might not know that they are not well enough. Maybe maybe it's their aura that there's a certain infection, and they don't know their aura is having an infection, but you're kind of affected by it. You're not feeling well enough. Over time, that infection affects their physical body, and then they are sick. So you could tell them, you don't, your aura seems infected, doesn't make any sense. But by how you're being now can heal their aura, such that they're not going to get sick anytime soon. That means you're not going to get sick anytime soon either, which means an infection gets healed before it can affect anybody by just you being aware. Yeah. I invite you to bring your attention to your arm, left and right sides. Now, why am I saying this is? Some people's immunity is compromised from the long COVID effects. So as a community, we can help each other get healthier, better. So we are less having a chance of getting infected. Okay? So I invite you to bring your attention to your left and right sides of your arm and notice any sense of tension in your skin of your upper arm. Yeah? And particularly, for example, notice if there's a crawly sensation. Sometimes there could be a crawly sensation. Yeah? A certain tension between the inside of your upper arm and the outside and the skin. And also notice your cheek. Is there any tension in your cheek? Why? Because your ability to smile may be getting a little affected. Yeah, your muscles are a little too tense. And when you smile, it seems like you're kind of cracking through your cheek muscles because you're so stiff and your smile seems a little, cracky. Okay, that's also something to pay attention to. Yeah, due to whatsoever reasons. And pay attention to your mouth. Does it feel acidic? If it feels acidic, chances are you need to bring your attention to the softness of your tongue, to the moisture of your tongue, and to any sense of warmth in your mouth. Because that will help dissolve any acidic tension in the fluid sense of your mouth. Yeah, your breath could be affected, and our breath is so many parts water. Yeah, so if there's somebody around you who's having some form of infection, it kind of sometimes also affect their breathing, their ability to breathe. Could also be you could drink water, but it's not necessary that that water hydrates your breath unless you're being aware of your breath and noticing acidic versus noticing the moisture in your mouth, for example. Yeah. Noticing the sense of the sense of your tissues. Does your tissues feel a little sharp? In the sense, your tissues does not feel soft. Does it feel a little sharp? Yeah. That could be coming from a little acidic sense. The breath is a little tense. Yeah. And it's kind of like sprinkling. Yeah. A spray, water spray. the breath needs a little, it's like a string, like a stringed instrument that sometimes need a little moisture, and maybe that'll soften a bit. Yeah. And then we're kind of like made of several kinds of strings, for so to speak. Yeah. But our body's made up of many kinds of things. Yeah. So um, just pay attention to um, softness of your tongue, upper portion, lower portion, moisture in your tongue. Yeah. In and about your tongue, sides, the inner cheeks, um, and warmth anywhere about your mouth. Because warmth tends to slightly warm up your breath, and also helps to kind of dissolve the acidity. Just pay attention to warmth, not hot, just warm, gentle warmth, anywhere that you can notice. If you notice your mouth being hot, notice the movement of air in and out of your mouth, or rather from the back of your throat. Do you have any sense of air moving, aerating your mouth? Pay attention to that sense of air. And then slowly notice that sense of relaxation, any sense of relief. That helps to over time kind of ventilate your mouth. So over time, the heat slowly comes to some sense of warmth. It may take its own time. It could be that you've never paid attention to your body's heat element. Yeah. And so there's a certain blood boil. Yeah. So it could also be that you're eating a lot of meat, or have been angry since some time and didn't know that you've been angry since some time. And so there could be a certain heat. Yeah. You tend to lose your BP, so to speak. Yeah. You tend to whoosh, shoot up in anger. Could also be the blood boil. Yeah. So that could be tending to build up, and anybody says something that could trigger you, or there are some emotions which is more available to you, and some emotions which is not available to you. Yeah. And then you wonder, why is everybody happy? But it's like, this is how life is. Yeah, but not necessarily. Yeah. Could just be there are certain experiences which haven't been able to come to your attention. Yeah. Because the earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space, that's also your body, is in a certain, yeah. Okay. Now, in a certain, uh, like holding on to a muscle. Yeah. And not knowing how to relax. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's also a state of wellness. So these are some parameters by which you'll be able to kind of notice how's your state of wellness. Yeah. So softness of your muscles. Can you pay attention to warmth, or does your body feel hot? Yeah. Um, your state of well-being, your ability to be versus all the time do, may be affected by how much of heat there is in your body. Yeah. You could say vata composition, vata, pitta, kapha. But the vata, a body is required to maintain a certain balance between vata, pitta, kapha. And this hot composition could also be from you not paying attention to earth, water, fire, spirit, space. We will cover that. We don't want to do all of that too much too soon, because we may have family traditions of how we are, and also family traditions of diseases passed on from one generation to generation. Okay. So um, slowly, yeah, as we begin to start becoming aware, at least we'll begin with the 6 signs of inflammation. And then you'll be able to notice, how's your chest region? Can you notice any sense of softness in your chest? Okay. Can you notice the movement of your chest as you're breathing? Air is going in and out of your nostrils, yeah, into your chest, expanding, contracting your lungs. Are you able to notice? Do you not, or rather, pay attention to any sense of movement in your chest as you're breathing? Because that movement is likely to correspond with the natural expansion and contraction of your lungs. Okay? If you can notice the gentle, rhythmic movement of your chest as your lungs are expanding and contracting, Notice any sense of ease in your chest, which also comes from just being aware of your lungs expanding, contracting, or your chest expanding, contracting as you're breathing. Simply paying attention to that sense of the gentle rhythmic movement itself could bring some relief, some relaxation. Your breath could be deepening. Yeah. The length of your breath could be elongating. And along with that, chances are you can feel some sense of softness in your chest, which means there could be a certain wellness emotion, emotions of wellness being there, which is when you tend to feel a sense of softness in your chest. Okay? Notice if you can feel any sense of softness in your chest. And along with that, do you notice any sense of warmth in your chest, in the space of your chest? Because your lungs are in the space of your chest. Yeah. And there's also the heart. Yeah. And the rib cage also, that then encases the lungs and the heart. Yeah. Are you able to notice any sense of warmth in the chest cavity? Are you able to notice your chest cavity as a space, which is good enough too for you to have a little assessment of your state of well-being? Because if you can feel the space of your chest, if you can feel the softness of your chest, warmth in your chest, you're doing better in health than a lot of people who don't know or can't be aware of their chest. Due to whatsoever reason. Maybe it's just that they haven't heard this video. Yeah. Could also be just that. Yeah. Um, so, but you paying attention to your chest in this way, maybe in some way has them feel better. Because we are all humans. We are in many ways related, genetically also neighborly also. Yeah. So we each affect each other's well-being and not well-being too. Yeah. But when you can be well just by being mindful, aware, and in the present moment, appreciative in the present moment, chances are they are having a healthier breath too. Don't know why they're feeling well, but they're feeling well. That means you're less likely to not be not well anytime soon. Yeah, that's like investment in health. So if you don't have to deal with a problem, that is one problem that you don't have to think about finding a solution. So you can work on some other problem. Yeah. You already have our itinerary of many things, and then our own lives, business, business of life, everyday living stuff, without having to worry about feeling about getting sick anytime soon. Yeah. But not being well and then downtime, and that's a lot of, it's expensive. Yeah. Okay. So on that note, I will pause. We will meet in another video, or do let me know in comments how you're doing. Are there any questions? Is there something that I can suggest or make another video about so there is better clarity? Yeah. Do let me know. Thank you so much for your kind interest. Good day.